I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's program. The topic, of course, is membership success, and just a word about why we're doing this. And there's a couple of reasons. We've noticed that our clubs are in all different places when it comes to membership and being intentional with their plans to grow membership. Some clubs have a well thought out strategy that they're working towards, others not so much. And we've been talking about this quite a bit. There's a lot of data and research from what Rotary is doing that tells us that those clubs that do have an intentional plan, that do have a focus on membership from not only leadership but everyone in the club, are the ones that are going to be the most successful. And one of the things that we know for a fact is the most effective way to attract members and engage members is simply to ask them. Everything else we can try and may or may not work, but we know that just that outreach, that personal outreach, and tapping someone on the shoulder and asking them to come to a Rotary event or a Rotary meeting is something that works really well. We talk about membership a lot in our steering committee meetings that we have every week. There's a huge focus on it. As a district, our membership numbers are kind of borderline where we need them to be. So we're working hard to help clubs increase them. And regardless of what it means for us as a district, any effort that we put into making your club stronger and increasing membership within the club is going to benefit both the club and the community. So there's a lot of effort in trying to make our clubs, as the title goes, irresistible, as you'll see in some of the other zone events that we'll be talking about. So we really want to keep membership front and center as part of our conversation going forward. And I know Joyce, as she steps up into the DG role, is committed to doing that. President-elect Stephanie, who will also be taking over in June, has challenged each club to increase membership by a net of 2 members in this coming year. And we may think 2 members is not a big number, but that's a plus 2 after we consider attrition and people who leave the club for whatever reason. So to get that positive 2, we might have to get 4, we might have to get 5. So these are all the things that we want to be thinking about. We are a membership organization. That's first and foremost. Members join us for networking and for service. So we want to make sure that we're meeting them where they need to be met. Tonight we'll hear from 5 clubs who have been successful in growing membership and attracting members to their clubs, as well as engaging in programming that is also attractive to members and in retaining members in their clubs. We'll hear from Sandy Coker from the Rotary Club of Westboro, Bo Daly from Blackstone Valley, Richard Segan from the Rotary Club of Brookline, Katya Portnaya from Weston Wayland, and Ken Masson from our World Disability Advocacy Club. Tonight's host will be Karen Gaffney. Karen, of course, was our district governor back in 2017, 2018. She's vice president now in the Westboro Club and scheduled to take over as president in the 25-26 year. And she's also serving currently as our zone membership learning mentor, one of a number of membership related positions Karen has held in the zone. I also want to quickly thank Diana Nestorova, Jim Fusco for the time that they've put into these discussions, and of course our membership chairs, Mark Vital and Jen Luchetti, who have been playing instrumental roles in these conversations. So with that, I'll turn it over to Karen, and you can take it away from here.
Okay, thank you, Elliot. So I want to again welcome everyone. And as Elliot said, we're going to talk to 5 current club presidents from our district who've been successful this year in growing membership. And we know from recent surveys of clubs across the United States that clubs that have been positive and sustained membership growth have some common attributes. There's some things that successful clubs all kind of seem to share. And one of the first things these clubs share is that most of those presidents set membership goals and prioritize membership in their planning. So we're going to talk to one of our presidents tonight who was very focused on a membership goal. Another attribute of successful clubs when it comes to growing membership is that these clubs tend to use public relations and public image very effectively. They get their word out about their club and their service projects and their activities. And these clubs also focus on member engagement. They think about their culture. They examine what time they're meeting and how much it costs and some of those things. And so we're going to look at both of those aspects. Fourth, these clubs are focused on service. And in fact, there's a saying in Rotary that if you get service right, everything else will follow. I mean, after all, that is our secret sauce, is service. So one of the key components in doing more service is forming effective partnerships in the community. And we're going to talk to a president tonight who's done just that. And so again, we're just going to have a little interview time for about 35 minutes. We are going to open it up to questions at the end. Everyone's going to stay on mute during the interviews. So if you have a question, you can type it in the chat if you'd like, or we'll certainly let you raise your hand at the end. So we're going to start with Sandy, and I just want to make sure you're off mute, Sandy. So Sandy, again, is from the Westboro Club, and I know, Sandy, you were very focused on a membership goal when you were planning your year. Well, actually years, because Sandy's been, this is her second year. She's a repeat president. So talk to us about, how did you come up with a goal, and how often do you visit your goals? And do you think that having a goal helped you succeed in membership growth? And I want you to just spend a little time telling us about that.
Sure. When I took over from the presidency in last year in 2022, I guess it was, my goal was to grow the club in a way that we would be attracting a younger demographic. So kind of the goal was to, over the 2 years, get 10 new members to the club. And we kind of started to just go after some of the soccer dads. So you got the moms and that. So we tried to go to that kind of demographic that, people that want to get involved. They're working, they don't have a whole lot of time, but they want to get involved in service where, sometimes the women are out doing their thing with the kids, and, they want, the men want some camaraderie. So we were really successful in building out our club that way. And that gave us a couple things. People that were engaged, that had technology experience that could kind of help to bring us to the next level. And I think having the goal was big because, I do a lot of networking. So for me, it was pretty easy to talk to people about Rotary and what we do. And everyone was pretty well focused on that. So we've had really good success. We have 3 new members being inducted this month. And just through community involvement and just talking to people about Rotary. I think a lot of us that are still working, and we do things with chambers or with other different clubs, it's kind of an easy lift to talk to people about it. But having the goal really re-energized our club from COVID, and having the new people come in with their ideas and, having them join committees right away and getting involved, that has really helped to re-energize our club. And I'm looking at next year when the next president takes over, and we're in really good shape with our committees, with our finances, and just with the membership in general. I'm really excited about where we're headed.
Great. And it sounds like, and of course, in full disclosure, I am a member of this club, but it sounds like the whole club really took on the goal. It was like a priority for not just you, but kind of everyone in the club to really look for opportunities to get new members.
Yeah, that was when I was first installed. The first time I was installed, that was our thing. I'm like, we need to grow the membership. We've got to get more people involved. Our club prior to COVID was kind of the go-to community service, arm of the town. And my focus and our focus was really to kind of get ourselves back to that space where we're very well known and very well respected, and the go-to for service.
Great. Awesome. Thanks, Sandy.
You're welcome.
So, Bo, you're going to be next, and we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of a great experience when someone joins our clubs. And, we really want to make sure that we're welcoming and that we're thinking about how to meet them where they're at. So whether it's offering multiple meeting formats like a hybrid and an in-person, or switching up the time that you meet, or having one breakfast, one lunch, one dinner, or assessing the cost, or thinking about should we have a meal or not a meal. So all that stuff that goes into the Rotary experience, so people will want to stay. Can you share with us? And I want to just say the Blackstone Valley Club, Bo shared some really interesting information with me, which is that the Blackstone Valley Club was actually established in 1926, but had a lot of attrition over the years. And when Bo joined, they only had 3 active members. So they were kind of teetering on, are we going to really make it here? And today they're up to about 20. So it's a real success story. And Bo, can you share with us some of the thoughts you have about great meetings and a great experience?
Sure. I was trying to point to this here, but I didn't know which direction I had to point it. So I came into the club around 2019, and it was a club that had its heyday, and now at that point it was definitely floundering a little bit, right? There was only 3 members that were active, 1 member, maybe 2 members that were pay members that paid their dues but didn't come to anything. And I would say it's different for every club, but when I came in, it was lunch only, and in a town, or the valley, right, of where there's individuals that really, who has time to go to lunch in this area, right? And again, every club is different. I don't want to knock the idea of lunch, but here it was very difficult to get people to a lunch meeting. So we I took time to really get to know the members and establish myself in the club. I was coming from Metro Providence. Family had to move down to Providence, and then I ended up getting a job up in Whitensville. So prompted me to kind of look at a new club, and since I was spending a lot of time in the Whitensville area and in Uxbridge, ended up going to this club. And over time it became apparent that the lunch meeting wasn't ideal for those in this particular area. So we ended up going to a breakfast meeting, and that became very successful in the sense that, as we talked to new members, potential members, guests, we could get them to these meetings. Now, the meetings were at a breakfast establishment, so it wasn't ideal as far as actual a meeting environment. So we didn't have the speakers and all of the things that really I think attract a different sort of group of folks, which we knew was an issue at the time, but we were in a growing phase of our club. or a regrowing phase. And it was clear that the breakfast meetings were helping us. We established a our meetings were first and third Tuesdays. We established a fifth Tuesday, so quarterly social meeting. Actually, I take that back. Now it's a social meeting. Back then, it was our formal meeting, so it was our business meeting. So we were able to meet and speak on club issues and have an environment where we could do that and have speakers. So all of those things together really helped build the club. I think the number one thing that helped build the club is consistency. As COVID was happening, there was a lot of inconsistency in the sense that, clubs would just say, we're not going to have a meeting today. We don't have enough people. And, in my mind, those potential prospects that show up because we advertise these things, hey, this is when the meeting is, where it is. And if they happen to show up, you're going to miss people. That consistency really paid off, because as we spoke to people and we had our consistent meetings, people showed up. And if we weren't there, if we decided to not have a meeting because we only had one or two people, we would have missed out on that opportunity. So I would say, for me, my mission was to be consistent. Consistent with the meetings, consistent with the environment for those meetings, having great meetings, as you said. So that consists of having a good, solid agenda, being able to, really introduce the club to the new members and the members to the new club, or the prospects to the new club. So it was good. It was a good experience, and I feel like a successful one, as you can
Great.
see.
So yeah, it sounds like you met people where you really thought about what's the best solution here for the most people, and you've met them where they are, and now you're thriving. So that's a great success story. Thanks, Bo. So Richard, you're next. I just want to make sure you're not on mute. And so Richard, again, is from the Rotary Club of Brookline. And Brookline has had a great year for membership growth. They're up net 8 right now. And one of the things that Richard has been able to find success with is engaging with community partners as a way of inviting non-Rotarians to Rotary events, and then having those people see how like-minded we are as partners, and that has been a really good membership tool for Brookline. So Richard, can you tell us more about some of the specific events and how you invited non-Rotarians and how you got the word out and what that's meant for your club and its growth?
Sure. Thank you, Karen. And thank you, Elliot, for organizing the event and inviting me. Good to see everyone and the interest in this obviously important topic. I've already learned from the first two speakers. So I don't believe there's any magic bullet for membership growth. And if anything, it's a team effort. So I want to thank the Brookline Club's membership committee chair. I'm not just pointing it out because she happened to join the meeting now, but I do want to recognize Sharon Herman, who is our membership committee chair. She's done a fantastic job this year, as has the committee. And membership is also about retention. So that's a team effort too. And I have to thank the board and our team for what they've accomplished this year. As of the end of this month, we will have, not totally included in your count, Karen, but we'll have 16 new members for a total of 57 members and another 4 honorary members. And we'll have a net membership gain of 10. We had 3 members pass away, unfortunately, and another 3 moved on. So I'm going to talk about 2 events that we did this year as examples of expanding and changing the image of Rotary, leading to membership growth and more interest in Rotary in the local community. So first, we held a forum on climate change, and I have to thank Sue Pagini for getting us started on that. We had held numbers of environmental programs over the last year, but Sue and her team helped move us to another place. They put together a really fantastic resource kit on climate change that and any club could take advantage of it to do what our club did. So Elliot, could you pull up the flyer? This is the flyer that we used for the event. And it captures a number of the features that helped expand our horizon and outreach. Thank you, Elliot. So while our club was the prime mover behind the event, we partnered with 5 other organizations and invited each of them to be co-sponsors of this event. We had an interagency planning committee with representatives of each of the organizations, and this was valuable too, as we all got to know each other, and it laid the groundwork for future collaboration. Each of the organizations also agreed to promote the event to their mailing lists and to post it on their websites. We also invited a leading researcher from the Boston University School of Public Health, and this also helped with promotion. The town's health department was a co-sponsor, and we held the event during National Public Health Week as one of a series of events during that week, again, helping with promotion. So April 3rd happened to be a stormy night, and questions were raised in the immediate hours before about whether or not we should cancel the event. We decided to move through it. There was not a snowstorm. It was just a bad windy night. 91 persons attended. About 20 were Rotarians, 70 were non-Rotarians, and most were attending this event. This was their first ever Rotary event. So one attendee shared a comment that I think takes it back to Rotary and membership. She had been involved in a Rotaract club 30 years before and not active since. And she was very pleasantly surprised that Rotary was involved in an educational campaign related to climate change, and to learn that, and she also learned about Rotary's other priorities, and it made Rotary relevant in a way that she hadn't thought it was, and renewed her interest in us. The other program that I very briefly mentioned was titled Global Conflicts, Rotary's Toolbox for Peace. Elliot, could you pull up that slide? The idea for this program came from one of our members, and I have to thank Elliot for his help in connecting us with Rotary Foundation trustee, Marty Hellman. Marty is involved in establishing the Rotary's newest Peace Center in Istanbul, Turkey. And if you haven't heard her speak or read about her work, it's really worth checking out. Members of our club had been talking about global conflicts and what role we might play in helping those impacted and helping with conflict resolution. And it was unclear, very unclear, what role we might play. Few of us knew about Rotary's Peace Centers or the Peace Fellowship Program, and that's where Elliot came in. So thank you, Elliot. The program that was held earlier this month was co-sponsored by 3 other clubs and another community partner. And in our promotional materials and communications, we explained that we would not be talking about the war in the Middle East or in Ukraine, but more about Rotary's work in the unfortunately timely area of conflict prevention and resolution. The program was well received and highlighted Rotary's nonpartisan work on an issue of great concern to many of us. So I think with that, I want to conclude with 5 points related to membership growth. One is that Rotary is doing some spectacular work, for example, in the Peace Centers, and more generally in our 7 areas of focus. And sharing that work can change perceptions about Rotary and lead to interest beyond those already involved in Rotary. And the Rotary Toolbox for Peace Forum was a positive for the Rotarians that attended, making us proud to be part of Rotary, and also help make the outside community see Rotary in a very favorable light. Second, community partnerships. I would say that there's a real value in partnerships with other organizations in our communities. We need not go it alone. Partnerships with other organizations can be a real win-win. And I think we saw that in our climate change forum. Thirdly, partnering with Rotary clubs. There's also real value to partnering with other clubs. We can all learn from one another and support one another. Fourth, Rotary has a wealth of resources, and they're not always easy to tap into, but there's value in persevering and tapping into them. And five, I think you have to take a long view. One should not necessarily expect a one-to-one relationship in which you take an action and more members appear at your door. I think we did get new members as a result of these forums, but I expect we'll gain even more over time as we've helped present Rotary as a contributor and had the opportunity to share and pitch the beauty of the Rotary community to the larger community. So with that, I'm going to end. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No,
Happy
that
to-
was great. Thank you, Richard. Katja, you're next, and just take yourself off mute if you haven't already. So one of the things that's really important in membership growth is just keeping the members that you have. I mean, in Rotary, we hear all the time that, we're always at 1.4 million members worldwide, and how can that be when we're bringing in so many new members every year? Well, that's because there's a bunch going out the back door. So keeping the members engaged that we have is such a critical part of membership. And Katja, I know your club this is the Weston Whalen Club, has worked really hard at coming up with some ideas and processes for welcoming new members and for recognizing existing members for their time and their talent, and a process for keeping in touch with members who maybe haven't been seen at a meeting lately and so forth. So can you just share with us some of your best tips for member engagement?
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to represent our fantastic and wonderful club, which I absolutely love. So I was thinking about, the question, of what I was going to answer today. And I thought to myself, well, this must be an issue all across the board, right? Not just in our organization, but in other organizations as well. For example, I belong to the Massachusetts Master Gardeners Association since 2015. And I have seen that organization grow from a small organization into where it is today, right? Today, they have 49 gardens, 4 different districts that they take care of. They have an educational prison event that they have where they teach prisoners how to garden and climate change and all of these things, and they have huge outreach to also to the community. So what I did was I went ahead, and this morning at 10:30 in the morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as much as I don't like that expression, I went ahead and I had a call with the president and the vice president of that organization to see, is there something that our club and their huge organization doing that is similar, that's making us successful, right? Because, at the end of the day, if all we hear about is Rotarians, we need some outside ideas too, right? And so here are the things points of contact that we found that actually work, right? First of all, attrition is the same for everyone, all right? Attrition is a problem. So the only way you're going to fix attrition is bring in more than come out. I mean, it's just that simple. Next thing is welcoming your members, all right? For example, they have a welcome committee. We have Rotarian mentors. Every single new Rotarian that comes in is assigned a mentor, all right? And that mentor takes them through the club. They tell them how to sign up for meetings. They tell them when events are going on. They tell them where they can sign up. They talk to them and see, hey, where do your interests lie? Where do you want to stand in this club? My mentor, Mark Messina, ended up being also my mentor for my presidency as well, because we built that relationship, right? It works. It really does work, because when you're going into a club where you don't know anyone, it's nice to have someone hold your hand and say, hey, you're welcome here. We love it that you're here. All right. Then after that, very important part, listen. So here's the way that I look at it. We had a brand new member come up to us and say, I want to go ahead and create a pollinator meadow. And we listened. And we figured out a way to do it. And now we have our conservation team. Another brand new member came in and said, hey, I want to teach kids how to run a business. We said, okay. And we listened, right? He said, here's a way to do it, but I need to figure out some kinks. We worked out the kinks, put together a committee, and we got it done, right? So listen to your members, see what they say. Now, sometimes you might not like what you hear. That's expected too, right? But be prepared to do more listening. Recognition. We have mentions, we have awards, we have certificates, we have the PHF, we have nominations, right? All of these, I'll give you another example. On our conservation team, I gave out 3 awards to our biggest conservationists that were out there, pulling up weeds and doing all their hard work. This year, we had a few events that were supposed to have some pretty rough rain going on, and I had two members of the faith, and I said, hey, you've got the morning, you've got the afternoon, go to the big guy and see what's going on there so that not a single raindrop drops, right? Not a single raindrop. As soon as we put the last table, it was like a sheet of rain coming down, right? So what did I do? I went ahead and I gave each of them a certificate that was in a nice little, frame that said official weather maker for the Rotary Club of Weston and Wayland, right? It gave us an opportunity to recognize, even though, come on, right? But what it does is it gives you an opportunity to talk, and it gives you an opportunity to talk about your people, and it gives them an opportunity to engage, right? So recognize your people as much as you possibly can. Give them shout outs. Have a presidential email that goes out and that says, you as the president say, this week, oh my God, John Marchione did an amazing job, right? John Marchione might have annoyed me during the whole entire time, but he still did an amazing job. So guess what? He's going to get that recognition because that's what it takes, right? And the reason I'm saying that is because I know he can take the hit. All right. Next up is engagement itself, right? As soon as you have a new member, figure out where can they fit in? What's their niche? What's their thing? Is there a committee that you already have? We have a hospitality committee. We have a conservation committee, right? We have a PI, public image committee. We have all of these different, and then each event has a committee of its own, right? So start plugging them in and seeing where do they get along? Where are they comfortable? And see if they'll take on a role of leadership. I did not finish saying my Rotary vow when our conservation co-chair emailed me and said, hey, do you want to be my co-chair with me? Right? They got me in right away. I mean, there was nothing I could do, right? How could I say no? I just got my pin. So do that. And I think that will help you. And remember, trust the process. Listen to your people and trust them to do it better than you.
Great. Thank you, Katja. That was excellent. Ken, you are going to round us out here, and I really appreciate your being here. So you have had a lot of success in growing a cause-based club, and that term in Rotary vocabulary is relatively new, but it's one of the first new clubs that started in our district in quite some time. And Ken sent me a statistic today on his club that says it has grown 300% since inception. So I know you're really growing like gangbusters. I don't even know how many people understand fully everything about your club, but could you spend a little bit of time talking to us about the appeal of a cause-based club for getting new members into Rotary, and then also maybe a word or two about how an existing club could think about morphing into a cause-based club as a way of growing?
Sure, I'll be glad to do that. Thank you very much. And by the way, there's a thunderstorm going through here, so if you hear the rumbling in the background, I'm not in a war zone. I'm in a thunderstorm zone. I have lived in the district for and was a Rotarian in the district for probably 35 years, and then I started up this new club, and I retired, and I'm now living in Columbia. I want to talk about causes, because I've always believed in causes, having a strong cause in your club to attract members. And in this particular case, this Rotary Club is focused on the advocacy of human rights for people with disabilities on a global level. And the beauty of it, it's kind of proven what I've always believed to be true, because I had brought in 4 new members this month. There are going to be 5 to 6 new members coming in next month. We're closing in on 60 members at this point. I also have 12 members, 12 people who have written to me and they're interested in joining the club. So I have zero problem bringing members into the club. And I believe it is because of the cause of disabilities and human rights for people with disabilities. And I believe that people we catch their attention because of that cause. They want to be a part of working on something that they themselves totally believe in too. Most of the members have some sort of relationship to the cause. So they want to be a part of it. They like the fact that Rotary is what Rotary is. And they feel proud to be a part of a cause that they believe in, but also associated with the Rotary name to it. Another interesting statistics, or a few other couple interesting statistics that happened out of the whole thing. Yes, we are a global club, so that helps a little bit. But we are also the most diverse club, I think, in the world of Rotary. I don't think that you'll find any other club that has more diversity than we do. We also, I was looking at the numbers the other day, and we have 50% women, 50% men. So there's not very many clubs that have that kind of a statistic. So I'm kind of proud of it. The other thing is the cause in particular, attracts a younger group of people too, who want to be a part of that cause. And I do applaud Richard for working on the climate change project and working on the global conflict project. Those are 2 very strong causes. And so I believe that if a club identified itself or attached itself very strongly to a cause, that you're going to find people who want to be a part of that cause, who want to join in and contribute to that cause. And what happens usually is that even though Rotary itself is a factor in their joining, sorry about that. I hear that thunder. They join on for number one, the cause first, and I don't find anything wrong with that. I know we've all spent a lot of time promoting Rotary and how great Rotary is, and it definitely is a great thing. I'm being a member for almost 4 years now. I'm very pro Rotary, but instead of trying to promote Rotary, I promote the cause. They join for the cause, and then they find out even more how great Rotary is, because of Rotary, we can connect to people around the world. So that's the power that Rotary brings to this cause. So to me, I mean, there are 7 avenues of focus that Rotary focuses on. And I think that if you looked at those 7 avenues of focus, and as a club, you looked and said, which area do we want to be involved in? And then focus on one of those areas, and then start to promote yourself. And Richard could promote himself certainly as a climate change club, and that would certainly attract a lot of young people to it. And by the way, Richard, if you want to bring those causes to a global level, either one, get in touch with me. I'll help you do that. Because I can do that very easily. Actually, climate change is very much a part of disabilities in 2 levels. It impacts people with disabilities more than other people. And in addition to that, on disaster relief, we're working on that for climate change. So I very strongly suggest that clubs focus on that. I believed in that for all the 30 years I've been in Rotary, and it's the last 3 years I've been able to prove that it to be true. I truly believe that by the end of this year, we'll have 60 plus members And by the end of next year, I'm looking at over 75 to 80 members in the club.
Great.
I got 12 members. At this point, I have to figure out what to do with who want to join the club. So
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that. So I'm just gonna open it up to our panelists, each of you, if any of you has one more quick thought. So our last question for each of you is, if you had one piece of advice to give a club president for their best chance of success in growing membership, and it has to be like a minute or less. It's a little bit of a round robin here, a minute or less, your one piece of advice. So Sandy, do you want to start?
Build strong committees with strong committee chairs and get people involved.
Okay, great. Bo, how about you?
Connect with your members, those that exist in the club, and then obviously those that are coming in. Just make sure you have a strong connection with each and every one of them. It doesn't take much time, Zoom, in-person meeting, whatever you need to do, but connect with them.
Awesome. Thank you. Richard?
I think I've already said it. I think it's a team effort that involves the whole club. It involves a great membership committee, and it involves connecting with your community, taking advantage of the opportunities in the community.
Thank you. Katja?
Remember, this is not a one-year thing. Set small, actionable changes that will put your club on the trajectory of growth versus just trying to do everything in the 1 year that you are president. Small changes go a long way.
Awesome. And Ken, final word.
Yeah, one word is a promotion. I think you need to promote your club, what you're doing, all the good stuff you're doing, and get the word out there, and people will take an interest.
Awesome. Well, thank you to all the committee members, and we still have just about 15 minutes left, which we don't have to use at all, but I do want to open it up to questions. So if anyone has a question or a comment, if you just want to, you can either put it in the chat or raise your hand, and I think Elliot is monitoring the questions. So if anybody wants to. John.
How many of you have 10% of your members who are doing too much and are you're risking burning them out?
Just 10%, John?
Let's go with 10%, burning out.
I think that was part of our problem, John, early on. Just we had a core group of people. But as I look at the membership, and we got a lot of people and doing a lot of different things, and not everyone is the loudest and saying, "Hey, look at me." So that's been one of the things about having the strong committee strong committee chairs, is kind of spreading that work out.
For us, John, it is spread pretty evenly. And I would say it has to do with connecting, as I said, with the members and realizing what they're good at, right? So just understanding who they are and what they do and what they would be good at, and just making sure that you're asking them, hey, you really connect well with people. Do you want to be part of membership? Do you really, connect well with service projects? Can you lead this next project? So just making sure that you're connecting with folks.
Thanks.
And I would say, John, also keep track of your winners, the ones that go the hardest, and remind them and give them a call and say, hey, you need a break, to take a step back and have someone else take care of this. Because there are people in our club that will just take over everything and get it all done because it's faster that way, and they end up burning out in the process. So I had to do that. I called people up and I said, I don't want to see you for a week, right?
Great. All right. Anybody else? Another question? Comment? Anyone?
I think Shannon Herman has a question.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you, everybody. So my question is, we have assigned mentors, and how do you make sure that the mentors do their jobs? they're all wonderful people. They all mean well. And then you talk about burnout, being membership chair, then I'm on top of that too. And I don't also want to be a nag. So how do you make that happen?
Open the floor to your new members to say, this is your mentor. If you've got any questions, call them, because they'll call them. They'll bother them, right? I'll give you an example. My mentor once called me, and my customer service team, because I only had my business phone number on there, well, they flagged my calls. They're like, oh, sorry, she's in the meeting. I'm like, oh my God, you guys just literally stonewalled my mentor. Thank you very much, right? So have them, have the actual new members make sure that they understand, hey, reach out to them. Here's their phone number, here's their email. And then just say, hey, if you're not getting a response, give me a call, right? And that's when you call your mentors and be like, hey, I really need your help on this. I can't do it alone. That's the way that I've done it, and it worked.
So you don't have the mentors be the ones that are reaching out.
Nope, I have the members. I tell them, listen, I want you, the first thing that you do is I want you to reach out to your member, to your mentor, right? Because that also gets them going. That also gets them doing things. I know my regular seasoned Rotarians are doing things. They always do things. But it's the new people. I want them to get used to having that ability to communicate with other Rotarians in the club. So I give them a task.
Thank you.
Bob Wicks.
I first really impressed by all the presidents and the hard work and commitment you've done to for your clubs. And I kind of see 5 themes that come out of this that I'm very impressed with. I think it covers it very well. Listening, engaging, trusting, recognizing, and promoting. And the first 2, listening and engaging, I just want to add a perspective that I have to that I think is intended. And that is listening to people, find out what their passions are and what they really want to do, and then engaging them in that area. If you engage them in something they don't care about, they won't do as good a job as they will if they're doing the thing that they really love and care about.
Thanks, Bob. Anybody else? David.
Yes, a quick question. Should the mentor for a new member be the person that sponsored them? Or is it better to have somebody different give them another slant?
That's a great question. I would recommend, actually, because then that new member has 2 points of contact, right? They have their mentor and the person that sponsored them. So that way they don't feel boxed in to only talk to one person if they have an issue or if they can't figure something out. So definitely the more people welcome. And I'll give you guys an example of what happened to me in 2021. My business was so dead. It was crazy, right? Because it was right off of COVID. It was terrible. And once I joined, if our Rotarians in our club could not book with me, they called me up and they gave me advice on business, on how to, because they knew I was very transparent. I said, hey, we're struggling here. They knew. And so this ability, this net of people that I could count on allowed me to be as involved as I became. Now, I'm not sure how happy they are now with me being as involved as I am, because you guys see I'm a little high energy, but that's just the amount of tea that I have, that's my 3rd one.
Okay, spasiba.
How about Vera? We can't see you, but I do see your hand is up.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for letting me talk. Back in the days, we used to have a passport that members had to sign in for the new members. Any thoughts on that?
Sounds fun.
Tell us more. What does that mean?
When I joined the Framingham Rotary Club, right, they gave me a passport with the name of all the members, and I had to collect signature from every member. That means it made me meet every single member of the club. So I had to start the conversation and they open up the doors for me to become friend and connect with those members.
That's
Sounds
cool.
like a great idea.
Yeah. Very cool.
I love it. And it's so 1994.
Exactly. Maybe the old ways might work too.
Now there'd be an app for that.
I think it also helps a great deal if the members are not all sitting down when people walk into the room. The best clubs, and I was at AG for 8 years. One of the best, all the best clubs have people talking and milling around and into groups and talking with everybody and meeting everybody and welcoming everybody. They're not sitting in place at the tables. That's a very unwelcoming room to walk into if you're a new member, or almost any member really, who doesn't have a lot of connections yet.
I couldn't agree with you more. I have tried so hard this year to start my meetings on time. I walk around, I'm like, 5 minutes, everyone, come on, let's just start thinking about where we're going to sit. But they're all having such great conversations. By the time I ring the bell, I have to wait another 5 minutes before everybody sits down. But that way, everybody's talking to each other. I never have anyone just sitting there by themselves. And if they do, I walk up to them and I have a sit down and I have a chat with them. So yeah, I agree with you on that one.
All right, anybody else? Other questions?
I actually like the mentor idea. I'm thinking about it now because I spend a lot of time trying to keep the people engaged. And when I have like 60 members, that's a lot of work just to do that. If I assigned a mentor to each, say, every 5 members, they would be doing that work, not me.
And once they're established, assign buddies rather than mentors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call
I
it
like
whatever way that you want it. Yeah. And that was definitely not my idea. That was all Jan Lucchetti and John Marcioni right there. That was the two of them. These are my key troublemakers at the club that make everything happen, along with Brenda, Richard, Vera, and everybody else. But they're the ones that come up with all those ideas. I am just the emotional support animal of the club.
All right, so Therese.
Okay, you talked about promotion. Music Fest this Saturday, Right Out Park in West Concord. 5 different bands from 1 to 7 o'clock. Come. All clubs are welcome. It's free, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. And it's gonna be sunny because we have our weather people out there too. You guys all did great. Very, very good. Very, very good. And I happen to have a phenomenal poster signed by people like Jimmy Buffett. It's 9 different artists that played the Fleet Center and Madison Square Garden. That is one of the auction items. So you want something that's like phenomenal, come to our music fest on Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So let's see. I'm looking around to see if there's anyone else here. I don't see any other questions. So first of all, I just want to thank the panelists again. Great job, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for everyone who's here. I did ask the panelists to type their contact information in the chat. So if you want to scroll backwards and get up to the top, you can, there's someone you want to follow up with after the fact. Or you can certainly reach out to myself or Elliot if you have questions or a follow-up from this meeting. From what I understand, it's I know it's being recorded, and Elliot or someone will be sending out the recording. If you want to share the meeting with anyone who wasn't able to be here tonight, you'll have an opportunity to do that. And then Jan Lucchetti, did you want to close out with just a quick word about what's happening at the district level on membership?
Sure. We've got a district membership team that we've put together. Sharon's on it also. You're on it, Karen. And basically what we're going to try to do is any club that might need help, basically with membership or really anything, we'll put them in touch with someone who can help them. We're looking for people to join us as a team because we may do actual visits to certain clubs, but we want to stress that this is a ask only. We don't want to push any of our ideas on them. We're there to support them and listen to them and see if we can get them to move forward in a direction that they're comfortable with and help them to increase membership and maybe be able to create teams, get someone to do a lot of public image or their website, et cetera, et cetera. So
Great.
Mark, is it Mark Vital or Vital? I never get it right.
I
So
think it's a
Mark and I are
vital.
the co-chairs, and feel free to reach out to either one of us if you want to join the team, or Karen.
Great. I know there's also some additional Zoom sessions coming up that are going to be available to really anyone in our district. It's a series called Simply Irresistible, and each month they're on a Monday night at 7:30, and there's a different topic, and you'll see that coming out in the newsletter, and you'll get an email from it if you're a president. And so grow Rotary, go membership. Elliot, did you have any final words?
I just want to thank everyone for joining tonight. This is an important topic. I want to thank you, Karen, for your efforts and your work to put this together, and our 5 presidents for sharing their time with us, and just leave you with the idea that we're all on the membership committee. It's up to all of us to reach out and make that ask, and to help grow the organization. Don't wait for somebody else to do it, because it won't get done. So thank you for everybody, and we will be adding more programs like this throughout the year ahead. I know Joyce is committed to that course of action. So watch the newsletter and other communications for dates in future months.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Karen and Elliot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
guys.
you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.